Hello there and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today, 12-month review of my Clarks Original Desert Boot. Now I bought these boots in the spring of 2020, so it's well over 12 months, probably closer to 18 months, and they've had 2 full summers of wear. Now I've worn these boots extensively during that period, not so much in the winter, but we'll talk about that. But they've had a thorough test in the practical world, both on the roads and pavements and in the countryside as well. So let me tell you what I've thought of these boots. As ever, before we delve into my review, let's just revisit the origin story of the Clarks boot. I did a full review and a historical breakdown of these boots when I first reviewed them, when I first bought them last year. But now, 12 months on, quick update. These boots came into being in the 1950s. They were a product of the innovation of the British Army during the Second World War. A chap called Nathan Clark discovered that the Army issue big solid leather hobnail boot was impractical in the desert and in the Burma campaign, and as a result he saw that a local shoemaker in a bazaar in Cairo was turning out boots similar to these, which he was then selling on to British troops who wore them in preference to their military issue boot. He bought a few pairs of those boots, brought them back to the UK, and as it was, Nathan Clark was a member of the Clarks family, which owned a large, and still do own, a large shoe manufacturing company here in the UK. They fiddled around with the boots, and in 1950 they released them to the world as the Clarks Original Desert Boot. Since that time, they have been universally popular amongst men of all kinds. They've gone through all different sort of style levels of take-up by people. I mean, in the 1960s and 70s, I think they were seen, they had a bit of an offbeat reputation. You know, the Beatles were seen wearing them and other popular figures like that. In the modern era, I think they've settled down and they're an accepted pair of boots within the men's style world. They are, I believe, the world's most popular chukka boot, and Clarks makes hundreds of thousands of these per year. They're very modestly priced at a touch over 100 British pounds. And I've been wearing them for well over 12 months now. In fact, I've worn them since I was a young lad, off and on, but I've had a period of not wearing them before I bought them again last year. I've given them a review, so what do I think? Now, one of the things I really enjoy about my Clarks Desert Boot is its very simple styling. There's nothing fancy, there's nothing complicated to the Clarks Desert Boot. In fact, if you break it down, there are not even many component parts. The upper is very clearly and obviously just made of 2 pieces of suede in this case, although they can be purchased in different materials, most notably a beeswax or an oiled leather, which is quite preferable if you intend to wear them in perhaps more inclement weather. So you've got the upper, which is just made of a couple of parts. In this particular case, this is an unlined suede, so the interior is not even lined, and the sole is very famously made of crepe. Now, crepe is coagulated latex product. It is in essence a byproduct of the rubber manufacturing process, and it's actually quite a practical and durable product to make a shoe sole out of. But it's very simple. It's quite a low chukka boot, just above the ankle in reality, just 2 eyelets for the laces. In fact, the laces you see in this pair of boots, they're an oatmeal colour. They did originally have a colour lace which closely mirrored the finish of the boot, but I replaced them with these oatmeal coloured laces because I fancied a bit of a contrast and something which made the boots a little bit more fun. So I really do like the styling. It's not complicated. You know, the shoe is stitched directly the upper to the sole, so you've got a mechanical grip here. It's not cemented or it's not glued on. It's held firmly in place by being stitched on. So, you know, a really practical boot in reality and simply styled. What can I tell you about the comfort? Well, the comfort of these boots is a little bit of an ace up its sleeve. That crepe sole, which is very yielding and soft and grippy, actually makes it a very comfortable shoe to wear all day. And I have worn these shoes all day long on many occasions. I've worn them camping. I've worn them trudging round the streets of cities. Probably more than anything, I've worn them walking up and down on normal pavement roads, so solid, unforgiving surfaces really, and they have worn exceptionally well. They're really comfortable. You can spend all day on your feet in these shoes, and there's no foot fatigue at all. I've never had any issues with hot spots or blistering because of the very soft unlined suede upper. Very comfortable right out of the box. No problems at all in wearing them straight away all day long. The comfort factor is definitely one of its strong points. Now that crepe sole is, again, one of the defining features which makes the Clarks Original Desert Boot instantly recognisable. And what can I tell you about that? Well, as I say, coagulated latex, unusual substance to use, but actually excellent on these boots. It's quite gummy, quite soft and almost tacky like, particularly when it's very hot. And when you wear them originally, you'll find that lots of bits of fibre or little bits of things like that will actually stick to it because it's quite, as I say, soft and sticky. That makes them very sure-footed when you're walking around. There's lots of adhesion, lots of grip. And in fact, do you know what? Considering it's quite a soft material, considering I've worn it extensively over the last 18 months, there is very little appreciable deterioration, particularly in the heel block, where you strike the ground with your foot. It's not wearing down anytime soon. Looking at this boot, I'm going to say I'm going to be wearing these for 5-6 years before I'll need to discard them and buy another pair, because the wear down looks to be, that's the kind of sort of attrition on this material. Now, one of the downsides to the crepe material, when you buy it, it has quite a sort of a neutral or off-white look to it. I'd say like a fawny colour. Fits very well with the upper in this particular case. Obviously, you can buy the boot in different colours of suede, but I opted for the sort of natural colour suede, so it fitted rather well. But as you can see, it takes on the dirt quite quickly. As you can imagine, it's a grippy, soft, tacky material, and it's going to look dirty rather swiftly. And it did. Within a week or two, it rather looked like this. So if you're into having perfect soles, this is not going to be the boot for you. What I would say as well, whilst it's grippy and very adhesive in the summertime, the winter time, when it's often, in the UK anyway, quite wet and damp underfoot, sometimes even icy, snowy, sleety, this is not going to have any grip. Clearly it doesn't have any grooving in the soles, so it doesn't have the sort of sure-footed grip that you would get from a shoe with perhaps a commando sole or something like that. So what's the durability been like? Well, I have to admit I have kind of mistreated these boots over the last 18 months. I haven't paid them any special attention. Being suede, of course, that's one of the advantages. All I've done is applied a stiff brush to it every so often to remove any detritus or little bits of mud which the boot has picked up. And actually, it doesn't look appreciatively any different to the day I bought it. So I have to say it's wearing exceptionally well. Very good strong point when it comes to the look of the boot. The sole, as I say, barely looks to have worn down at all. And yeah, so from that point of view, if you're after a boot which requires virtually no attention at all and continues to look very iconic in its nature, this is definitely a route you may wish to take. So my journey with the Desert Boot started, as I say, when I was a kid, but recently a sort of a reacquaintance when I bought this pair about 18 months ago. And I have pressed them into service, as I say, on a daily basis. In the spring, summer and some of the autumn. I do not consider these to be a winter boot, and I certainly wouldn't be wearing them out of what I consider to be their season, summer, spring. They're about to, it's autumn here in the UK, these are about to go away into storage, and they will come out again probably next May when the weather takes a turn for the better. But whilst they've been with me, they make a perfect accompaniment to my favourite trousers, which are chinos. I wear all different kinds and colours of chinos, and these really fit that bill perfectly. They have that relaxed, casual look, yet they're a little bit more elevated than perhaps, say, a training shoe or a sneaker of some kind. So you still get that lovely natural suede appearance, yet without it looking too stiff and buttoned up. So certainly an advantage of the Clarks Desert boot is its sort of chameleon nature of being able to be worn with your jeans, absolutely, for sure, with your chinos of all different colours, but perhaps uniquely for a boot, this footwear can easily be worn with shorts. Now, you wouldn't think of that for a normal boot, but originally the Clarks Desert boot was employed in service by the British Army in the desert theatre of conflict, and they would have been worn with shorts from the get-go. And I think that's still something which is highly appropriate today. I have to admit, I haven't worn them with shorts this year. I do tend to wear, other shoes when I'm wearing shorts, but I would do. It's just not come up for me this year, but I wouldn't hesitate. They're a boot you can definitely wear with shorts, and I think that makes them unique and gives them an absolutely versatile and flexible ability to be worn across the broadest breadth of your clothing during the warmer months. Okay, but no footwear is perfect, and neither is the Clarks original desert boot. And there are pros and cons, and I've thought hard and I've come up with some. So, first of my pros is it is a rugged boot. It doesn't require any special attention. It's a boot that you can take off, throw in the corner of the room. I don't put shoe trees in these. I don't do anything like that. They are a boot that you can wear every day. Think of them as your daily sort of work boot, and you won't go far wrong. As I say, rugged, iconic, instantly recognizable, and people who understand and appreciate casual men's style will see that you're wearing a pair of Clarks Desert boots, and they will acknowledge it. These are good, steady, reliable boots, and they are instantly recognizable. That's for sure. The price is good as well. These are modest, around about £100. I must admit, I bought these in a Clarks shoe outlet store, and I paid £60 for them, brand new. So, shop around as ever. The internet is your friend. Deals can be got, and you will probably, the goal when it comes to men's footwear is never to pay full retail price. Same goes for the Clarks Desert boot. Always drive the price down and get them 20-40% less than they should be. What else? They're hard wearing. This is a pair of boots I've worn for a year, and there's no sign of it. 18 months even. 2 full summers of being worn practically every day. I'm only not wearing them now because they're on the table. They are looking great for the wear that I've put them through, and I'm sure they're going to last many, many years. They're well constructed. This particular pair was made in Vietnam, of good quality components. They're going to stand the test of time. And when you're paying a modest price and you get a return like that, I feel quite comfortable in investing in boots which are so wearable and going to be so, the longevity is going to be there for me. And they're a timeless classic. These are never going to go out of fashion. They're always, in 100 years, the Clarks Desert boot will be worn by men as the quintessential daily classic, utility, casual boot in the warmer months. So, your money is safe. Next season, you're not going to wake up and find that people are no longer wearing Clarks Desert boots. They're still going to be on men's feet, and you will still be rocking the look that everybody or all other well-dressed men are aiming to pull off. Oh, and not to forget, they're incredibly comfortable as well. These are boots that you can wear all day long. You can be on your feet, walking down pavements, walking off-road, and they're going to, they're going to treat your feet well. You're not going to get blisters. It's going to be comfortable. And for me, function over form. That's the most important thing. Boots and shoes have to be comfortable first before you consider what they look like. And these tick that box. So if there are pros, there must be cons. And what are those? Well, first of all, they're not a 4-season boot. They are most definitely, I would say, a 2.5 season boot. These can be spring, these can be summer, perhaps a little bit of autumn, but the fact is, when the weather starts to become inclement, when there is rain, when there is ice underfoot, it's time to put these away. There is no grip in these shoes. They are very tacky and adhesive in the warm summer months where that crepe grips the ground and gives you perfect traction, but That's not the case in winter. So they're not an all-year boot. It's only a half-the-year boot for sure. That crepe sole, which is so important when it comes to the grip, it's not pretty. You know, that is not an attractive look if you are somebody who finds that important. The crepe sole is an unusual material. We very rarely see it used in footwear today. The Clarks Desert Boot is probably one of the last champions of the crepe sole. It works very well for it, but it is not the most attractive, and it may be something which you may not like. And finally, really, the biggest con for me, it is essentially a casual boot. It is not a boot that you can wear in a formal situation. Practically, absolutely, formally, not at all. So once you rise above your chinos and your jeans, and perhaps even if you're wearing chinos and you want to wear a jacket or something a little bit more formal, the desert boot is going to be incongruous with that flow of your clothing. You know, remember, your outfit starts from the ground up. Your shoes and boots are the foundation of your outfit. So it's important you get the right level of formality at the ground up. If you're going to wear a jacket and tie, you know, this particular pair of boots, the Clarks Desert Boot, not really there. So it's casual, but it does casual very well. So what is my summary of the Clarks Original Desert Boot? Well, it's hard to argue with it, really. It's a no frills, no bells and whistles, rugged utility boot that is as practical today as it was when it was created during the Second World War. It's tough and rugged as a summer boot, and you know, it's really a quite splendid pair of boots. I will always have a pair in my collection going forward. They're the perfect boot to reach for most warm summer days where you can't think of what to wear, and you want something that's going to marry with the outfit that you've got on. It's going to last for years and years, and it's going to be comfortable when you wear it. You know, and it is modest in price. You know, it's very difficult to draw dislike for these boots. Now, if you don't like the styling, that's one thing. It's a subjective thing. For me, I quite like it. You know, I quite like its sort of militaristic history. I like the ideology behind them. Comfort, function over form. It works for me, and it's going to work for me going forward. And it may work for you too if that's something you wish to introduce into your shoe and boot collection. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed my 12-month or 18-month review of the Clarks Original Desert Boot. If you have found it useful, you would do me an honour if you gave the video a thumbs up. And if you like the material that I give, please click that subscription button, come on the journey with us, and you won't miss any of our future material. So, until the next time, take care of yourselves, looking sharp and dandy in your Clarks boots, and I will see you again very soon.